All right, so we're back, and we're back to more tax problems, and that's going to be our story for the rest of this recitation. So let's go right to it. I like this question a lot, right? It's a nice diagram, and it's going to force us to think about all these issues about who pays the burden of the tax. So I've drawn a version of the diagram that you have is 6.23. So let's look at the first question. It says, refer to figure 6.3. The price paid by buyers after the taxes imposed is. Whoa, they jumped ahead of us here. So let's start here. Now, what's the price before the tax is imposed? So you have a demand curve here, that's D0. That's our demand curve before the tax, because we know this is a demand curve after the tax, all right? Here's our supply curve right here, all right? So the next question is, here's the price, $14, and they want to know the price paid by buyers. So your instinct is to do this. Your instinct is to go right here, say, okay, here's the new demand curve. Buyers pay $8. Wrong, right? What happens is, this is the price that exists after the tax. In other words, this has to get paid, this little broken red line is the amount of the tax, and that must get paid to the government. Therefore, the consumers are going to end up paying this price up here. This part's going to go to the government, and the suppliers are going to end up receiving this price. So I've probably given you 3 answers in one shot here, but let's go back and do it, right? So the price paid by buyers after the tax is imposed is B, $18. And that's important to see. Again, go to your equilibrium. This is where you start from. They're paying $14, the consumers are. The producers are receiving 80 units. We now impose a tax on the buyers. It shifts the demand curve down by the amount of the tax. So this distance right here is going to be the amount of the tax. And you'll notice it's parallel. This distance right here is the same as this distance right there. Okay? So now you know, okay, well, this is what the suppliers are going to get. This is the tax that has to go to government. This is what consumers are really paying. They're going to pay $18. The government's going to get this distance right here, which is going to turn out to be $10. The suppliers are going to end up receiving $8. Okay? Let's go back to the next question, 623. It says, again, in number 6, it says refer to 623. The effective price received by sellers after the tax is imposed. Again, I've kind of given you that already, right? Here's what the suppliers are going to get. They're going to get $8 after the tax. Why? Even though they sell it at the store for $18, $10 is going to go to the government, and the suppliers are going to end up with only $8 after the tax. That's important. Right? All the other answers are incorrect. So let me keep going with this because I like this problem. It says, the amount of the tax per unit is. A really good question, straightforward question, but you have to know it. Again, this is the amount of the tax. We have equilibrium. We have a tax. It causes the demand curve to shift down by the amount of the tax. No question, the whole demand curve shifts. This distance right here is the tax, and this distance right here, the broken red line, is the tax. Because these lines are parallel, the tax is the same for every unit. No matter how many units you buy, you're going to pay the same amount. We do that in the store all the time, right? A fixed amount per unit of the good. So, how much? Well, consumers pay 18, suppliers get 8. This distance is the tax. The tax is $10.